Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's topic is risk in project management. We will discuss about the what is risk and what are the key components of the risk in project management, and then we will move into the next part of the video, which is how we can manage a risk, and we'll do a detailed description on it. Without wasting any time, let's get started with this video. But before moving ahead, so if you do not have subscribed my channel for more videos on project management, please do like, share, and subscribe my channel for more videos. Let's get started with this. Risk in project management refers to an uncertain event or the condition that can have either positive or negative impacts on the project's objectives. So the effective risk management involves identifying, analyzing, and responding to risk to minimize their impact and maximize opportunities for project success. Here are the key components of the risks in project management. First one is risk identification. This involves identifying potential risks that may affect the project. Risk can arise from various sources, including technically complexity, changes in the requirement, resource constraint, external factors as human factors, techniques such as brainstorming, checklists, and risk analysis workshops are used to identify risk comprehensively. Second is risk analysis. Once the risks are identified, they are analyzed to assess their probability of occurrence, potential impact on project objectives such as scope, schedule, cost, and quality, and priority for response. Qualitative risk analysis assigns the subjective probability and impact rating, while the quantitative risk analysis uses numerical techniques to estimate likelihood and consequences of risks more precisely. Let's move on to the third part, which is the third component is the risk response planning. So based on the results of the risk analysis and the qualitative and the quantitative, and the risk response strategies are being developed to address the identified risks. So there are the four main response strategies. First one is avoidance, second one is mitigation, third one is transfer, and one is acceptance. So these were also the techniques how we can these were all the strategies how we can tackle the risk if the risk comes into our project. So first one is avoidance, eliminating the risk by changing the project scope, objective, or approach to avoid the risk altogether. So this technique may not be widely used because whatever the project scope or the objective is defined, that should be rigid through the entire project, or otherwise it should have an impact on the scope, time, and the budget, and three of them would be needs to revise again. So there will be a lot of time, maybe the budget as well, and the scope needs to be defined. So it will take, it's a time consuming actually. So moreover, we do not use this one, avoidance one. Let's move on to the second one, mitigation. Mitigation, transfer, and the acceptance are the widely used one. So mitigation is the reducing the probability or the impact of the risk by implementing preventive actions or the contingency plans. So what does this mean is mitigation, like we already had a discussion on the Scrum ceremonies of the Scrum. So there will be a topic called sprint retrospective or the project retrospective. So there we learned about that for an entire milestone needs to be done, this task needs to be done. This would be our learning, and we'll be considering some best practices that needs to be followed for the rest of the milestone. So from there, we can also minimize the risk for the milestone. So from there, it came into the picture. So this is what it is, the mitigation. So how you mitigate it? Through the best practices or whatever the learnings you do have in the prior. So this is the one of the widely used techniques that can be used for the risk. Okay, and the next one is transfer. So shifting the risk to the another party, such as insurance, outsourcing, or the contracts. So like you'll be, you can understand that if the risk comes, so then definitely the scope of the project got changed. So might be like in our team, that particular specific department is not involved, so we can always transfer the and that is to the particular specific department for which it is catering, because they are the team of expert, they can easily handle that. Next is the acceptance. So acknowledging the risk and accepting the consequences if it occurs, either effectively or passively. Yeah. So that's it for the response planning. Let's move on to the next one, which is the risk monitoring and control. Throughout the project lifecycle, risks are monitored to track their status, resist their livelihood, and impact, and evaluate the effectiveness of the risk responses. Contingency plans are activated if risks materialize and new risks may emerge that require additional analysis and response planning. Fifth one is opportunity management. In addition to addressing threats, risk management also involves identifying and capitalizing on opportunities that may arise during the project. Opportunities are positive risks that can enhance project objectives if effectively managed. Techniques such as opportunity identification, analysis, and response planning are used to maximize potential benefits. So, the effective risk management is essential for the project success, definitely, as it helps project managers anticipate and proactively address potential issues and opportunities, reduce uncertainty, and increase the likelihood of achieving project objectives within the scope, schedule, and budget constraints. So let's move on to the next part of the video, which is how we can manage a risk. Managing risk involves a systematic approach to identify, analyze, respond it, and monitor risk throughout the project lifecycle. So it is the step-by-step guide how to manage risk effectively. First, you should identify it. First, the very first thing, you should identify the risk. Second thing, you should analyze it. After that, you should plan for it. Or then you should see for the opportunities, and then you need to monitor and control it. And the last part is communication and the documentation. So we'll go one on one. Okay, so identifying the potential, first one is the risk identification. So identifying the potential risk that may affect the project objectives, including threats and opportunities. So use the techniques such as brainstorming, checklist, risk registers, and historical data to identify the risk comprehensively. The fourth point is consider the risk across the various categories, including technically, organizational, external, and the human factors. Okay, let's move to the second. Now it's the time to analyze the risk. So first step that you need to take is you have to assess the probability of each identified risk occurring and potential impact it could on project objective. So second one is use the qualitative analysis to assign subjective probability and impact rating to risk, prioritizing them based on their severity. Third one is consider conducting qualitative analysis for higher priority risk using numerical techniques to estimate probabilities and consequences more precisely. Let's move on to the third part, which is for the risk response planning. We already discussed this topic, so let's discuss one more time. First of all, what you need to do is you need to develop the appropriate risk response strategies to identify the to address the identified risk and setting both threats and opportunities. Okay, so for threats, you can use these techniques like avoidance, mitigation, transfer, and acceptance. So these were all the same techniques. So I'm not repeating it right now. Let's move on to the opportunities. And so exploit, take proactive actions to maximize the potential benefits of the opportunity. Second thing is enhance, increase the probability or the impact of the opportunity through additional actions. Or a third one is share, collaborate with the others to exploit the opportunity jointly. Or one is accept, acknowledge the opportunity and ensure it is incorporated into the project plans and objectives. Let's move on to the fourth one, which is the risk monitoring and control. Continuously monitor the identified risk or the project life cycle to track the status and resist their likelihood and impact. Implement risk response plans as necessary when risk materializes or changes severity. Third one is proactively identify new risks that may emerge during project execution and incorporate them into the risk management process. Fourth one is regularly review and update the risk management plans to reflect the changes in project conditions, objectives, or stakeholder expectations. Fifth one is communication and the documentation is the most critical one. So you need to communicate the risk information effectively to all the stakeholders, including the nature, severity, and status of the identified risk, as well as the planned and implemented risk responses. Second one is maintain a risk register or the database to document all identified risks, their analysis, response plan, and status updates throughout the project lifecycle. Ensure that the risk management activities are integrated into the project planning, execution, and decision-making processes. So let me just conclude it. By following these steps and applying the risk management best practices, project managers can proactively identify, assesses, and responds to risk. Ultimately increases the likelihood of the project success and minimizes negative impacts on project objectives. So that's it, guys, for this video. So please click, share, and subscribe my channel for more videos on project management. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.